Is up, everybody? I'm back again, this time with another story of my very first job interview. I was pretty awkward when I was like 16. Like 16, I was 16. I wasn't like 16, I was actually 16. I was really awkward. So, like, my first job interview was super nerve wracking to me. So I'm like, I need this job. I need to support myself. But I didn't because I'm 16 and I have a family. Anyway, so I go to this job interview. I get a call. They're like, we need you to come in for a job interview. And I'm like, okay. This is exciting. I turn in an application and it's at Baskin Robbins. Now, my two older sisters actually worked at Baskin Robbins before. And so I was like, I kind of know the boss a little bit. He's Korean, so he's extremely hard to understand at times. For me, at least. Some people might be able to understand him, but he's got a strong accent. It's hard to understand him. But he calls me. He's like, oh, I need you to come in for a job interview. I'm like, oh, what? And finally, I understand him. I'm like, okay, I'm going to a job interview. So we sit down, and the Baskin Robbins is over there. We're sitting in these seats, right? And it's an express. So there's a Wendy's over here, a gas station, and Baskin Robbins right in the middle, and he owns the gas station and the Baskin Robbins. So we're sitting like in the middle of all that. It's kind of awkward, you know. And he's like, "I'm going to ask you some math questions." I was like, "Math questions?" He's like, "I need to ask you some math questions." I was like, "Oh, math questions." So he starts off simple. He's like, 2 plus 2. I'm like, 5. I need to 3 times 7. I'm like, 21. Okay, that's very good, very good. I was like, yeah, it is. I'm a math whiz. And then he's like, I need to ask you another one. I'm like, okay. He's like, what is 10% of 100? And I was like, what did he just say? He's like, 10% of 100. I had no idea what to do at this point. Like, I don't even know what he's saying. Apparently, looking back, he said 10% of 100, which is 10, but he made it super confusing. Like, totally confusing. 10% of 100. What do you want me to say? He just said 10% of 100. He didn't say it, he just like 10% of 100. Over and over again. And I'm like, I don't know what to say. So I'm like, 90? I don't know what to say. So I'm like, 90? And he's like, no. I'm like, 10. And he's like, no, it's not right. I was like, 90? He's like, no, it's 10. I was like, what? I kid you not. He went back and forth. From 90 to 10. 90 to 10. Whoops. I didn't know what he wanted me to do. He's like, no, it's 10. What? How could you be more confusing in one young person's awkwardly staged life? And so I was just like, alright, I'll go with it. And then he's like, okay, I want to see you Monday. And I was like, well, that worked. Apparently you don't have to get the math questions right. Because he said I missed the 2 plus 2. He said I missed the 2 plus 2. So, he's wrong. He turned out to be a really funny boss. Like, he didn't even seem like he liked me. Like, he'd walk into Baskin Robbins and I'd just be like, you know, cleaning stuff. Because it wasn't that busy at some times. And I'm just like cleaning. And then he's like, oh, you need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do this. The floor's sticky. And I was like, and then, like, he seems always mad. Like, so I mop the floor. He's like, no, you need to use new water. It's sticky again. So I use new water. And he comes out, he's like, that's better. I was like, okay. I would go into his office and be like, yo, boss, I need this day off, bruh. And he'd be like, okay. And I'd be like, you have a special place in my heart. You're just giving me days off that I don't... Well, the schedule already came out and I wasn't scheduled for that day, but still, thank you. And there were some mean people. Super mean. And especially, I'm not blamed for the prices, okay? Sometimes ice cream can be overpriced. Especially old people. Our prices are right up on that wall.
Hey, I don't actually want anything.
And then one guy comes up and he's like, I want a large butter pecan shake. And so I'm like, okay, so I'll start making this butter pecan shake. I'm putting milk in, I'm putting syrup in, I'm putting everything in. He's like, no, none of that. And he's like, that's what you need, bruh. He's like, I don't want any of that. And I'm like, you need that, bruh. He's like, I don't want any of it. But I went ahead and I start dumping it down. I'm like, well, you need a little bit. He's like, okay, keep dumping. So I dump it out until there's like that much left in the pitcher. That much. I'm like, really? So I start putting in the 6 scoops, right? He's like, put more in. I'm like, I can't, Jimmy. So I'm putting the scoops in, and then I put it in the blender, and I'm like, it's only gonna fill it up. Like, there's not gonna be that. There's gonna be like that much air left. He's like, that's all right. I get it out and I start putting it in the cup, and it's not coming out of the blender. It's too thick. It's just sitting there. So I get a spoon and I'm like, because that's the sound ice cream makes. And then I put it into the cup, and there's like that much of air. These cups are only like that big, and there's that much air. And I put a lid on, and I walk over to him, and he like takes it, and he's examining the thing. Like, I thought I was on Master Chef or something. Like, he's gonna throw it at me and be like, oh, it's crap! It's crap! Get out of my face! But he just like examines it like this is his whole world, and he's looking at it. He's shaking it. I'm like, what is he gonna do to it? He's looking at it. He's like, man, that's runny. Like, he holds it upside down and nothing happens, and that's running to him? What? So anyway, I'm like, you want a straw? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you're not gonna be able to drink it. It's like concrete. But anyway, I hand him a straw, and then I go ring him up, and I'm like, bling, 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 bling. And I look at him, and I go, your total's gonna be $737. I thought the earth was gonna explode at that moment. He looks at me dead in the eye and goes, for this shake? And I went, uh-huh. And he went, it's not even filled up all the way, and it's running. And I look him dead in the eye, and I went, what do you want me to do about it? And he just goes, this is crap. And gives me $8, and I give him back. He even leave me a tip. Mean person. See, that's just a few customers. I also have a lot of other customers, but I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to save that for another time. But it was actually a pretty good first job, I think. I mean, there's a lot of learning how to scoop ice cream, but during the interview, I also forgot to add, my boss was like, you know, it may seem all like sunshine and roses and rainbows when you're scooping ice cream all day, but it starts to hurt your wrist. And I was like, okay. It didn't even hurt that. Well, like, okay, eventually it started to hurt, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. My wrist started to hurt after a while, and I used to use 2 hands, so it didn't hurt. And if it was not a perfect sphere, if it was not as perfect as the perfect sphere in the world, he would get mad. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you like my working stories, because there's plenty more where that came from. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.